Stoicism, a philosophy that stands out for its practical application in everyday life, offers valuable answers to the anxieties and challenges we face daily. Unlike other philosophical currents that often distance themselves from practical reality, Stoicism focuses directly on everyday issues. Here are the main teachings of this philosophy that can transform your life. 1. Everyday problems versus philosophical questions. Often, our concerns center on the immediate, tangible demands of life, such as paying bills, fulfilling worldly desires, dealing with uncertainty at work, and facing challenges in personal relationships. These daily questions can consume us to the point that we forget to reflect on deeper aspects of existence, such as the origin of the universe, the purpose of life, or our own nature. Stoicism, however, invites us to reevaluate our priorities and look at these everyday issues through a philosophical lens. By applying Stoic principles, we learn not to let ourselves be dominated by the anxieties of everyday life. Instead, we develop a broader, more balanced perspective. Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept what is beyond our control, such as external events and the opinions of others, while focusing our energies on what we can influence, our own attitudes and reactions. This focus helps us find inner peace, regardless of external circumstances. Stoics argue that by focusing only on worldly concerns, we lose sight of the true purpose of life, living according to virtue and achieving tranquility of mind. Through Stoic practice, we can transform even the most mundane tasks into opportunities for personal growth and wisdom. This doesn't mean neglecting our daily responsibilities, but approaching them with a new perspective that promotes calm and emotional balance. Thus, Stoicism guides us to a life where small irritations and major challenges are faced with serenity and resilience. It reminds us that while we can't always control what happens around us, we have the power to control how we respond to those situations. This approach empowers us to live more fully and meaningfully, finding peace and contentment even in the midst of everyday adversity. 2. Philosophy applied to real life. Stoicism differentiates itself from other philosophical currents by its unwavering focus on the practical application of its teachings to everyday life. While many philosophies tend to get lost in abstract theories and metaphysical speculations, the Stoics offer a direct and pragmatic approach to facing daily challenges with serenity and wisdom. Rather than delving into endless debates about theoretical issues, Stoicism seeks to provide tools and techniques that can be immediately applied to improve the quality of life. For example, Stoics emphasize the importance of developing emotional resilience and the ability to remain calm in the face of adversity. They teach that by focusing on what we can control, our thoughts and reactions, and calmly accepting what is beyond our control, we can achieve lasting, unshakable peace. One of the most practical methods of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, which guides us to clearly distinguish between what depends on us and what is not. This discernment helps us direct our efforts and concerns more effectively, avoiding emotional exhaustion with what is beyond our reach. Additionally, Stoics practice negative visualization, a technique that involves imagining adverse scenarios to prepare the mind and reduce the impact of the unexpected. Stoic teachings are especially valuable in situations of high pressure and uncertainty. Professionals in all areas, from business leaders to athletes, can benefit from the Stoic philosophy to maintain concentration, make rational decisions, and avoid panic when faced with difficulties. Stoicism also promotes self-reliance and emotional independence, encouraging us to find strength and satisfaction within ourselves rather than relying on external factors for our happiness. Furthermore, Stoicism proposes the regular practice of self-reflection and journaling, where we write about our daily thoughts and actions to better understand our behavioral patterns and identify areas for improvement. Marco Aurelio, one of the greatest exponents of Stoicism, kept a personal diary where he reflected on his own mistakes and successes, a habit that we can adopt to improve our own lives. In short, Stoicism is not just a philosophy of contemplation, but an art of living that can be applied in all spheres of life. It equips us with a robust mindset and a set of concrete practices that help us navigate the complexities of existence with grace and dignity. In this way, Stoic philosophy reveals itself to be a powerful ally in the search for a balanced, meaningful, and resilient life, offering not just theories, but a true life manual applicable to any time and context. 3. Stoic representatives. 3 great names in Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetis, and Seneca, personify the universality and applicability of this philosophy in any circumstance in life. These men, who lived in extremely diverse contexts, demonstrate that Stoic principles can be adopted by anyone, regardless of their social position, personal challenges, or historical period. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, is perhaps the most illustrious example of how Stoicism can be applied at the height of power. Ruling the Roman Empire during a period of great conflict, including wars and the Antonine Plague, Marcus Aurelius faced monumental decisions and overwhelming responsibilities. Amid this pressure, he wrote his Meditations, a personal diary where he recorded his Stoic thoughts and reflections. These meditations, intended initially for your own self-improvement, offer deep insight into how to maintain calm, justice, and wisdom even in the most challenging situations. Marco Aurelio teaches us that true power lies in self-control and internal serenity, regardless of external turmoil. Epictetis, on the other hand, was born a slave and spent much of his life under the oppression of his masters. Yet he found in Stoicism a source of unshakable freedom and dignity. Epictetus taught that true freedom comes from control over our own minds, and that no one can take that away from us. His lessons, compiled in Discourses and Epictetus Handbook, highlight the importance of accepting external circumstances while working to improve what is within our control. Her personal story of overcoming and resilience offers a powerful testimony of how Stoicism can provide strength and inner peace even in the most adverse conditions. Seneca, one of the most brilliant intellectuals of the Roman Empire, lived a life of extremes. As an advisor to Emperor Nero, Seneca held a position of enormous political influence and wealth, but he also faced exile and, eventually, a death sentence ordered by Nero himself. In his writings, Seneca addresses the fragility of life and the importance of living according to virtue, regardless of external circumstances. His works, such as Letters to Lucilius and On the Brevity of Life, offer practical advice on how to deal with suffering, death, and the search for a virtuous and balanced life. These 3 representatives demonstrate that Stoicism is not a philosophy limited to a specific class or situation, but a universal approach to facing life with dignity and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca show that whether you are at the pinnacle of power, in servitude, or facing the swings of fortune, Stoic principles can guide you to a life of meaning and resilience. Thus, Stoicism reveals itself to be a philosophy for all times and all human conditions, offering a way to live with integrity, peace, and strength. By studying the lives and teachings of these great Stoics, we can learn to apply their principles to our own lives, finding strength and serenity amid the inevitable storms of existence. 4. Internal control versus external. One of the main lessons of Stoicism is the clear and fundamental distinction between what we can control and what is beyond our control. This teaching is central to Stoic practice and translates into a practical approach to life that can transform the way we deal with challenges, adversity, and even success. According to the Stoics, we can only control our own actions, thoughts, and reactions. Everything else from external events, unforeseen circumstances, to the attitudes and opinions of others is beyond our control. Epictetis, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, summed up this idea brilliantly when he stated, "It is not events that disturb people, but rather the judgments they make about them." This means that by changing the way we interpret and react to events, we can control our emotional and mental state. Focusing on internal control means investing our energy and attention in what we can truly influence. Our reactions, attitudes, and decisions are aspects over which we have complete control. For example, when facing a difficult situation at work, We may not have control over the company's decisions or the actions of our colleagues, but we can choose how to react to these situations calmly, rationally, and resiliently. This capacity for self-control allows us to maintain serenity in the midst of chaos. Furthermore, Stoicism teaches us to practice acceptance of what is beyond our control. Acceptance does not mean passively resigning, but recognizing reality and adapting our expectations. This frees us from unnecessary frustration and stress generated by trying to change the unchangeable. Acceptance allows us to focus our efforts where they can make a difference, promoting a more balanced and fulfilling life. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reinforces this idea when he says, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This phrase encapsulates the essence of Stoicism. By focusing on our internal world, we gain power and resilience, making us less vulnerable to external storms. Furthermore, the Stoic practice of distinguishing between internal and external control helps develop a stance of personal responsibility. Instead of blaming external factors for our problems or feelings, we learn to look within and identify how our perceptions and attitudes contribute to our well-being or suffering. This introspection allows us to continually grow and improve. Finally, this distinction is also an invitation to emotional freedom. When we accept that we cannot control everything, we are freed from the anxiety that comes with trying to master the unpredictable. We can then live in a lighter and more focused way, dedicating our energy to the things that really matter and are within our reach. In short, the Stoic lesson of distinguishing between internal and external control provides us with a powerful tool for facing life with equanimity and strength. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, reactions, and actions, and accepting what we cannot, we find a source of peace and resilience that sustains us in any circumstance. 5. Quality of thoughts. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, left us a profound legacy through his writings, especially in his Meditations. He stated that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. This teaching is central to Stoicism and reveals a practical approach to achieving a full and balanced life. Marco Aurelio used his writings as a personal diary, where he reflected on his own experiences, emotions, and reactions. This habit of introspection and self-analysis was a daily practice, allowing him to cultivate a resilient and virtuous mind. The Meditations were not written for an audience, but for Marcus Aurelius himself, as a means of improving his character and strengthening his philosophy of life. This detail makes his thoughts even more authentic and applicable, as they reflect the daily practice of a man who faced great personal and political challenges. The quality of our thoughts, according to Marco Aurelio, is the key to true happiness. Negative, anxious, or pessimistic thoughts tend to trap us in cycles of suffering and dissatisfaction. On the other hand, positive, rational, and constructive thoughts promote inner peace and satisfaction. This principle aligns with the Stoic view that, while we cannot control external events, we have complete mastery over how we interpret and react to them. Marcus Aurelius believed that the mind is the greatest battlefield, and that we must guard it against destructive influences. He often reflected on the impermanence of things and the insignificance of worldly concerns in the grand scheme of life. This type of thinking helps put problems into perspective, reducing anxiety and fear. To cultivate the quality of thoughts, Marco Aurelio recommended practices such as negative visualization and gratitude. Negative visualization involves imagining adverse scenarios to mentally prepare yourself and value the present more. Gratitude encourages us to focus on the blessings we have, instead of focusing on what we lack. These practices are powerful tools for reorienting the mind toward healthier, more balanced thoughts. Another important aspect of the Meditations is the emphasis on virtue as a source of happiness. Marcus Aurelius argued that true happiness comes from living in accordance with reason and virtue, acting with justice, courage, wisdom, and self-control. These values are universal and timeless, and applying these principles in our daily lives helps us cultivate a strong and serene mind. Marco Aurelio also advised avoiding distractions and keeping your mind focused on the present. He observed that we often become troubled by regrets about the past or anxieties about the future, losing the peace of the present moment. He wrote, "Do not let your mind wander. Focus on the present and on doing what is before you with justice and wisdom." This focus on the present is a practice that helps keep the mind clear and productive. Finally, Marco Aurelio highlighted the importance of self-compassion and forgiveness. He recognized that we all make mistakes and that the key is to learn from them rather than beating ourselves up. This advice is vital for maintaining a healthy mind, as excessive self-criticism can lead to despair, while self-compassion allows us to continually grow and improve. In short, Marco Aurelio teaches us that the quality of our thoughts is fundamental to happiness and well-being. By cultivating positive, rational, and virtuous thoughts, we can face life's challenges with serenity and inner strength. His writings offer a practical and in-depth guide to developing a healthy, balanced, and truly happy mind. 6. Simply be a good man. Marco Aurelio, in his Meditations, emphasizes the importance of living a virtuous life in a practical and direct way, instead of getting lost in theoretical debates about morality. He suggests that instead of spending our time arguing about what constitutes goodness or justice, we should focus on actually being good and just people. This pragmatic approach is central to Stoic philosophy and offers a clear path to personal fulfillment and social harmony. For Marco Aurelio, morality is not a matter of complex theories, but of everyday actions. He writes, "Don't waste any more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This simple and powerful guidance highlights the importance of acting in accordance with ethical principles, regardless of external circumstances. In a world where words often trump actions, Marcus Aurelius reminds us that our actions are the true reflection of our character. The Roman emperor believed that true virtue manifests itself through concrete and consistent actions. He encourages us to live according to the 4 Stoic virtues: courage, justice, wisdom, and self-control. Each of these virtues translates into specific behaviors we can adopt in our daily lives. Courage, facing challenges and adversities with firmness and determination. This does not mean the absence of fear, but rather the ability to act despite it. Courage allows us to make difficult decisions and stand up for what is right, even when it is unpopular or risky. Justice, treating others with equity and respect, recognizing and valuing the dignity of each individual. Justice implies acting with integrity and impartiality, ensuring that our actions promote the common good. Wisdom, continuously seek knowledge and understanding, using reason to make informed and considered decisions. Wisdom helps us discern between good and evil, helpful and harmful, and choose the best courses of action. Self-control, governing our desires and impulses, maintaining a balance between our desires and our actions. Self-control is essential to avoid excesses and destructive behaviors, allowing us to live in a harmonious and balanced way. Marco Aurelio believed that the constant practice of these virtues creates a strong and righteous character, capable of facing any circumstance with serenity and dignity. He also recognized that being a good man is not a goal that can be achieved once and for all, but an ongoing, daily effort. In each moment, we have the opportunity to choose to act in accordance with our highest values, reinforcing our commitment to virtue. Furthermore, Marcus Aurelius reminds us of the importance of humility in the pursuit of goodness. He himself, despite his powerful position as emperor, often reflected on his own failings and constantly sought to improve. This humble self-reflection is crucial to moral growth, as it allows us to recognize our imperfections and work to overcome them. It also emphasizes the interconnectedness between human beings and the importance of contributing to the well-being of the community. Marco Aurelio writes about the need to act for the benefit of others, understanding that our happiness and fulfillment are deeply linked to the happiness and well-being of those around us. Being a good man, therefore, implies being a responsible and compassionate citizen, committed to service and mutual support. In short, Marcus Aurelius teaches us that true goodness is found in our daily actions, and in our ongoing commitment to virtue. By focusing on being, rather than just debating what it means to be good, we cultivate a strong, fair, and wise character. This practical and accessible approach is an invitation to all of us, regardless of our circumstances, to live by Stoic principles and make a positive difference in the world. 7. Unnecessity of many desires. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, offers us a powerful lesson about the nature of human desires and the true essence of happiness. He argues that many of the things we desire are, in fact, unnecessary, and that the endless pursuit of them diverts us from the path to a truly full and satisfied life. This teaching is particularly relevant in our modern society, where consumerism and the pursuit of materialism are often seen as synonymous with success and happiness. Seneca invites us to reflect on the true nature of our needs. He suggests that many of the things we believe are essential to our happiness are, in fact, illusory. Through his works, especially in the letters to Lucilius, Seneca highlights that happiness is not in accumulating wealth, material goods, or achieving social status, but in finding contentment and inner peace with what we already have. He writes, "It takes little for a happy life. It's all within you, in your way of thinking." By recognizing that many of our desires are unnecessary, Seneca encourages us to adopt a simpler, more minimalist life. He argues that simplicity is not just a virtue, but a path to true freedom. When we free ourselves from the weight of excessive desires, we discover that we can live with much less and still be happy. This freedom from superfluous desires allows us to focus our energy and attention on the things that really matter, such as our relationships, our personal growth, and our mental well-being. Seneca also warns us about the dangers of unbridled consumerism. He notes that the incessant search for more money, more power, more possessions, is a trap that keeps us from true satisfaction. This vicious cycle of wanting and acquiring can lead to chronic dissatisfaction, as there will always be something new to desire. He states that no amount of riches can satiate an insatiable mind. Therefore, the key to true happiness is learning to moderate our desires and appreciate what we already have. Furthermore, Seneca teaches us to differentiate between real needs and artificial desires. Real needs are those that are essential to our survival and basic well-being, such as food, shelter, and health. Artificial desires, on the other hand, are those that are created by external influences, such as consumer society and advertising, that make us believe that we need more to be happy. By cultivating self-reliance and frugality, we can develop greater resistance to external pressures and find contentment in the simple things in life. An important aspect of Seneca's philosophy is the practice of gratitude. He encourages us to focus on the blessings we already have and to be grateful for them. Gratitude transforms our perspective, allowing us to see the abundance in our daily lives rather than fixating on what we lack. This habit of gratitude helps us realize that we already have enough and that true wealth lies in appreciating what we have, not accumulating more. Seneca also advises us to cultivate self-discipline and self-control. He believes that by learning to control our desires, we can avoid the extremes of indulgence and deprivation, finding a healthy balance. Self-discipline allows us to make conscious, deliberate choices aligned with our highest values and goals, rather than being guided by momentary impulses. In an increasingly consumerist world, Seneca's words resonate as a timeless reminder of the importance of living simply and in moderation. He challenges us to reconsider our priorities and to seek happiness in our own minds and hearts rather than in external possessions. This Stoic approach offers a route to inner peace and true satisfaction by teaching us that happiness is not found in accumulating things, but in appreciating and being content with what we already have. In short, Seneca teaches us that many of our needs are illusory and that true happiness can be achieved by recognizing the unnecessariness of many desires. By embracing a simpler, more fulfilling life, we can free ourselves from the pressures of consumerism and find lasting satisfaction in the things that truly matter. This teaching invites us to look within, find contentment in our own existence, and value simplicity as the path to a happy and meaningful life. Thank you very much for watching this video about Stoicism and how it can transform our lives. We hope that the lessons of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetis, and Seneca have brought inspiration and new perspectives to face daily challenges with serenity and wisdom. If you like the content, please don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends and family. Subscribe to our channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our next videos. Together, we can continue to explore the power of philosophy to live a fuller, more meaningful life. To the next.